What's going on out there? I want to know, how do you feel about your safety in America? Do you feel that Joe Biden and his administration has been doing well with keeping crime low? Or do you feel that no, it's getting kind of crazy out here? Because I've been looking at local news stories from around the country, and just from this past week, it's getting worse. What's going on in Chicago, where just over this past Memorial Day weekend, there were over 30 people shot and 5 people killed. And I pray that number doesn't increase. But I mean, honestly, I don't even see how you can go out and have a get together in Chicago, especially during the holiday season, because stuff like this always happens. But then we have in Milwaukee where a reporter was trying to cover a crime that happened on this street where a shooting occurred, and then a crime happened in front of her.
News crew on the scene of a different story ended up capturing the moment a stolen car came to a crashing stop. This happened in Milwaukee. You see people running over to help, but the driver of the car gets out and just runs off. Running over to help, but the driver of the car gets out and just runs off. Police say the car was recently stolen with a group of teenagers inside. A passenger in the stolen car was hurt in the crash, was taken to the hospital before being arrested.
Thankfully, no one was killed, but I mean, come on. Really? These kids that are actually out here stealing cars, they're not doing it to sell the cars. They're just joyriding. And now they're able to make the news. But that's not even the worst story that I heard this past week. This past week, I saw this report, and it was from or out of Atlanta, and I don't even know how something like this could happen.
Good evening, I'm Russ Spence.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Chamblee police say a man is accused of performing a sex act on himself and leaving bodily fluids on a woman at Whole Foods.
Well, Fox 5's Mary Smith is live outside Chamblee Police headquarters after speaking with the victim tonight. Mary?
Yeah, that's right. The victim says this happened during what was supposed to be a routine trip to Whole Foods, but the unthinkable happened. Horrified and enraged. Just no words. Disgusted.
Dr. Sabine Lovell, a plastic surgeon here in Metro Atlanta, is still processing what happened to her during a trip to this Whole Foods on Peachtree Boulevard in Chamblee Saturday.
I was going to pick up a couple things. I see this gentleman walking down the aisle who's pretending to be shopping, and he's holding a basket. And he looked kind of like a normal gentleman, like late 20s, early 30s, nothing like extra suspicious about him.
She says she then reached for a bag of chips, but felt something on her back.
So I bent over to grab the chips, and as I was doing that, I felt something like wet and warm on my back. And so I put my hand on the small of my back, and then I saw that it was like this gooey, white substance, and I turn around and I see this guy looking at me, and then he zips his pants up.
Lovell tells Fox 5 once she realized what happened, she chased the man before calling police.
I wanted to draw as much attention as possible to the situation so that there would be a lot of witnesses.
Chamblee police say a witness saw the man drive off in a black Kia. Investigators tell Fox 5 they identified a person of interest, and the investigation is ongoing.
This was broad daylight on a Saturday. I'm sure he's done this before, or this could escalate to something more like rape or murder. So I want to make sure that this goes on his record and it follows him.
I don't get the mechanics of this whole situation. I'm sorry that this woman had to go through this, but she is correct. This individual needs to be caught, and I hope that he is apprehended and they prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law, because this person will more than likely graduate to doing more heinous crimes like rape. And probably when they get locked up for that and get let out again because for some reason the justice system won't actually hold these people in prison for longer sentences, yeah, they'll probably graduate to actually committing murder. And it happens all the time. To me personally, I think crime is getting worse in America because we're dealing with the ripple effects of COVID, the BLM / defund the police movement, also the George Floyd riots, and an administration that doesn't want to enforce law. I mean, come on, Joe Biden still wants to keep the borders wide open and yet wants to protect the borders of Ukraine. Crazy. But let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think? Do you think that crime is getting a little out of hand, especially under Joe Biden's administration? Or do you think that stories like this are being singled out and it's really not that bad in America? But again, like, these are stories from 3 different cities and it's getting like this everywhere. But I'm your host, TJ Evans, with another installment of the TJ Evans Show. Y'all, do the YouTube and Wrong With Things. Subscribe to the Royal Family Studios page. Also, don't take my word for gold. Y'all do your own research. Y'all stay safe, stay prayed up. And check out my book on Amazon, The Diary of Marvin Dwayne. Peace.